I think.
Well, the topic of love over hate has a very special significance to me because for 30 years I lived in a world of hate and darkness and violence, I suppose. But I'm glad I lived through it because by me living through it, it brought me to where I am today and the person I am today. And without those experiences, I wouldn't be the same person. The story I've got to share, I don't want to scare you or horrify you in any way, shape or form, but this is just my story. I was born in 1969 and grew up in a different sort of a household. I had my mum and my stepbrothers and sisters, and spent a lot of my early formative years at my grandparents' place. At the age of 5, I met a person that took several steps towards grooming me for his toy, and from 5 to 17, from him I was passed around between a group of his friends for 12 years. I was a plaything, a toy, and something that could be picked up, used and thrown away. And I grew up feeling ashamed, alienated and alone. But the advantage I had while it was happening, there were usually copious amounts of drugs forced into me, and I could escape. It didn't matter what they did to me because in my head I wasn't there. I could escape from the monsters. And it was in my second jail sentence when I was 30 years old, after I'd lost my partner as a consequence of my actions in my addiction, sitting in a cell at about 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, well, if nothing changes, nothing's going to change and I'll end up dying in a place like this. Because for so long I used all my pain and anger and hatred as a self-defence, and I mutilated people in fights, and I knew that wasn't the way I wanted to live, but that was my self-defence mechanism because nobody could see the real me inside. When I was released, I got into a church that the senior pastor, I was introduced to him when I was 17 after an almost fatal suicide attempt. He used to go to school with my mother, and she said he was a bit of a knock-around, drug-using idiot at the age I was when he was that age. And maybe, just maybe, I might be able to glean something from him and be able to change the way I was living my life. I formed a fairly close relationship with him and his family and his church, and to the point where I was driving a Sunday school bus, I was going to 5 Bible studies a week, I was an usher at the door, I'd mow the church lawns, I had a full immersion baptism in front of 600 people in that church, and told this same story too as well. Those past experiences and lifestyle that I led, the violence and the hatred, the drugs and the alcohol, were all gone. And I knew that the person inside me that was hurting so much and sought for so long for the love and the forgiveness that I craved was starting to come out of me. And it was through my faith and the forgiveness that I was given on the cross that I learnt that in order to fully receive that forgiveness, I had to forgive myself, and I had to let go of the past, because the past formed me and built a foundation, and it was only that foundation that was a bit wonky in the start. Those experiences led me to believe that all I was ever good for was the putridity of evil men, and I had so much to give the world. And I thought, well, if you look at those dark times and those dark years, there's thunderstorms and horrible cyclones in your life. The sun does eventually come out, and when those clouds disperse and the sun hits them, it's those clouds that make a sunset truly glorious. And I want to be that sunset. I want to be the thing that, I want to be the beauty in an ugly place. Now, today, I can hold my head up high, and instead of being the hand that violently knocks someone to the ground, I'm the hand that will help pick someone up. Because I know what it's like to have nothing and to be used and abused and trod on, spat out and kicked down. And I don't like anybody going through that. The feeling's horrible. But now I treat people the way that I'd like them to be treating me. It doesn't happen very often, but it does. I look at people in the eye when I'm talking to them. I leave people laughing, not crying. And I do anything, anytime, anywhere for anyone whenever they ask, so long as it's in my ability to do so. And that forgiveness, I've been able to forgive all those men for the evil things that they did to me, but I don't forgive the sin, and that's the difference. And by being able to forgive them and move on, I've found that I can see the most beautiful things in the most bizarre situations, and that's a gift. And I try, because I live my life so negatively for so long, now with every breath that I take, I know with every breath I'm getting closer and closer to death. So with that breath, I try and punch out as much positive energy as I can into the universe, because it's a very negative place at the moment. But and if I was asked, would I change anything in my history or my past? If I could go back and live it all again, would I change it? I'd say no, because if I had to change it, that meant it'd be somebody else going through that, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It didn't kill me, it made me stronger. It has brought me to a place where I always wanted to be, I suppose. I still yearn for that love and affection and a close relationship, but that'll come. But what I do today is, with every relationship I have, I treat strangers as friends I haven't met yet, and form a relationship right from the start by giving them as much positivity as I can and advice as I can. And yeah, I'm different, I'm colourful, I'm amazing. I wasn't born perfect, but I was born amazing, and I can do amazing things, and that's about it.
It's amazing, Taz. Thank you.
That's all right.